Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the JJ Unplugged. This is our second episode, and hello, I am Jake.
And I'm Jenny.
And we are here today to talk about something that has just very recently become very, very close to both of us. Can you guess what it is?
High costs in the shops. Like my grocery list. Yeah, that. Yeah. Chocolate just isn't the same price anymore.
That is very true. Or shrinkflation.
Inflation. Yeah.
Shrinkflation.
Shrinkflation?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
You haven't heard about it?
No.
Oh my God. It's basically, remember Toblerone?
Yeah.
And when they made the
they
shake,
make things smaller, but inflation brings the price up. Yes.
exactly.
I don't know if I sent this to you, but I seen this thing where it shows somebody that had tracked for I don't know whether it was somewhere between 10 to 20 years, a box of Quality Street. So every Christmas, they counted all the chocolates in the box, had it noted, the price of the box, how many chocolates in it. And every year it got less and less and less to the point that they're literally giving us I don't know, a quarter of what they would have given us years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuckers.
And who was it? Was it not Waitrose? I think it was Selfridges, maybe.
Okay.
They did this Christmas. You can make your own. I believe it was Quality Street. You could basically pack your own. And one person I saw, was it on TikTok, on YouTube? I don't remember, but they basically just meticulously packed every single piece of candy so that in the end, I don't remember how much it was, but it was one price. I think it was like 20 pounds or something. And they packed maybe 5 kilograms or something like that. So it was like 4, 5, or even 6 times the suggested amount.
It's crazy. I'm still going to buy the chocolate. It's me. Obviously, I love chocolate. And I'll go in and pay my overpriced chocolate. It's shitty, you know?
Speaking of chocolate.
Yeah.
It's so funny that this episode immediately has gone a different direction, but we'll get back to the topic.
It's giving a certain word that I'm not going to say right now because I'll give it away.
Definitely is. We'll get there. This is not what we'll be talking about for this hour. But chocolate, something that I've noticed, and my grandmother is saying the same thing, and everybody in my family is saying the same thing. There used to be a chocolate factory in Riga, Latvia called Lima. They had wonderful, such great quality chocolate from real cocoa beans, not a lot of additives, none of these weird vegetable fats and everything. And now, just a few years back, another company bought them over. And now there's no longer a chocolate factory in Latvia. And all of the chocolate that they make under that brand basically tastes worse than Cadbury's. And I am not a Cadbury.
Hey, I don't mind Cadbury's. I can't stand American chocolate. Hershey's for me. I remember the first time I ever tried Hershey's and it was like, what the fuck is this? It tastes like vomit. Ask me how I know what vomit tastes like.
I mean, who doesn't? But actually, speaking of Hershey's, there is this specific taste bud that some people have and some people don't, where they taste the vomit and others don't taste the vomit. I don't taste the vomit. I really enjoy her.
I taste the vomit. That's like that weird one with people that eat that.
Cilantro?
Yeah. And it's it tastes like dish soap or it doesn't. And I'm like, I don't think it tastes like dish soap. So I don't have that one, but I have the vomit one.
I have the dish soap, but
and you don't have the vomit one?
But I kind of like the dish soap.
Did you eat dish soap as a kid?
No, I didn't.
I had makeup when I was a kid. My brother tricked me. He was like, oh yeah, those bronzer balls that you have? They look like little chocolate balls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Cadbury's used to make this chocolate and it was called Revels. No, was it Revels? It was something like this, right? But they were these little solid chocolate balls. And he was like, yeah, it's chocolate, eat it. And I remember sitting there and eating it and going, this was a mistake. I've made a grave mistake eating it. So to this day, I can't use them.
I think it was Revels chocolate. I'm pretty sure I know what one you're talking about.
No, it's like a Cadbury's. It's like
Well, Revels are the tiny little brown
no, it's
balls.
not them ones. Okay, so go into type in for we're hitting up Joe Rogan energy here. Yeah.
You
Type in and find so go in for Cadbury's discontinued chocolate. It was like the purple bag and they were like balls, like little balls of chocolate from years ago.
20 lost chocolate bars and biscuits.
But these are like little balls.
Okay, let's see. No thanks. Don't give me any ads. What am I
Okay, no.
talking about? Big taste, flake.
But have you typed in chocolate balls though? Because that'll help.
I want to see where can we go from here. Whisper. Oh my God, I hate whispers.
I
Hate
like
them.
the purple one. I can eat the purple one. That's fine.
But I also hate Arrow.
Do you? Is it because there's holes in it?
It's the texture. It's the textural feeling whenever I put the little piece of Arrow in my mouth and it's just
And you
like
open your mouth and it makes that weird
bubbles.
noise.
No.
I know it.
Okay.
Okay,
No.
type in like small balls. Cadbury's discontinued chocolate.
We'll
So I
see.
just type in small balls alone because we just know you.
We'll soon need like a bleep button.
Yeah. That's fine. We'll bleep this out later. It's fun. It's no biggie.
Cadbury's discontinued chocolate balls.
Tasters. That's them.
Right.
Tasters. So I used to get these all the time. My mom used to buy them. And yeah, my brother tricked me. I was like, yeah, that's the same as them. And I was like, yeah, cool. Picked up a handful of them in the gob, only as a kid. And I remember that like now when I see them, I get the like the ick.
Are they like Maltesers?
No, because they're solid chocolate the whole way through. There's nothing inside, just solid chocolate. And they were the best. I would eat them now if they had them in the shop. I'd be into it.
I mean, sure. If they tasted the same, because I don't think chocolate
Well, we
tastes the
just,
same.
yeah, chocolate's, it's ever changing. Like me.
Speaking of chocolate, what is your all-time favorite chocolate bar?
Oh, that's a tough one. Okay, so it would definitely have to be Milka. And it's the trio one. I think it's called Rayolade, I think it's called. So it's like dark chocolate milk and then white on top.
Yeah, Triolad,
Trailhead,
but
yeah.
not a
Rayolade.
bar.
It is a bar. It's solid, like a bar.
No, a bar. No, they're called something else. Slabs, not slabs.
Slabs. It is a slab, to be fair, because this
It
thing's
is
like
a slab, but
yeah.
it has a different name. Oh my
Um,
God. Well, never mind. But bar.
a snack. A little snack.
A bar. A bar.
No, it really depends on the mood I'm in when it comes to chocolate. Like I'll eat all different types of chocolates, like milk, white, dark, all of that. Is there a go-to?
There was only bars available in, I don't know, a Spar, for example, and you were dying for a chocolate.
Starbar. Peanuts.
Same.
Starbar.
Yes. Yes.
That's a go-to. Yeah.
Starbar, I didn't know Starbar existed before I lived in the UK because it's a very, very like this area of the world type of chocolate. So I was always a Snickers person.
Oh, I'm a Snickers person. Yeah.
It's Starbar and then Snickers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like them. I wasn't really into Mars bars because they didn't have the nuts in them. So I was like, oh.
We
But I
do
did
like
eat them when I was younger. Yeah, I like nuts.
get some nuts.
But yeah, definitely.
Anyway, back to the topic.
We digress.
If you didn't guess, today's topic is
ADHD.
That's awesome. Let me see if I can actually play the jingle because that would be really cool if I could. So let's start. Maybe not. Let's see. Is it going to go?
Welcome to the JJ Unplugged show.
I have no idea. We'll know later. If it played, it played. If it didn't, it didn't. But
Okay.
let's start talking about some ADHD. This is going to be a very chaotic episode.
As if it's not already.
I'm just like forewarning. It is quite late in the day after a long work day. It's also the middle of the week. We're recording this on a Wednesday at like 8 p.m., which is 2 hours before my bedtime. But like, who cares? This is way more important. So I was actually looking up some ADHD jokes only because I thought it would be really cool to add in a joke, but I don't know if these are funny. But let me just read this one out. I told my doctor I keep forgetting where I parked my Ford. He said, "That's not how ADHD works." I said, "But I keep losing my focus." That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad.
I suppose as well, because like when it comes to cars, I'm like, oh, it goes. It has 4 wheels, 4 doors, or maybe 5 doors, depending. But it goes. Like when people ask me what brand the car or whatever, I'm like, a blue one? Like
Honestly, yeah. What is it? A Micra?
Nissan Micra?
Why do I know
She's a
that?
goer. She's a go. Took me a while to figure that one out though. I was like, it's blue. It drives. It has low mileage and it's
And it makes noise when you lock it.
yeah. That's due to like something in the actual lock mechanism and it can be fixed, but I just feel like it tells it tells it tells me apart from the back.
I know it. Jennifer's outside my gate. Like,
That's the point. Me and my mom and dad, like if I'm dropping them into town, right? Like in Wexford, I'm like, oh, okay, grand, like bring them into the garden and whatever else. And then I get out of the car. And the minute we're walking towards the door, I literally hit that. My leg goes, "Ree," and my mom does it. It's a thing. It's now a universal thing amongst the people that I love. And I'm like, cool. You know where I am. You know I'm close by, you know.
Jennifer has arrived.
Yeah. I'm making an entrance.
Or
So,
an exit in this case.
well, yeah. So, yeah.
So some of the topics, actually, you know what? I'm not going to read through the topics. We're just going to go take it one at a time
Just go
and see
raw.
where we.
We're
see
just going to
where-
raw dog it.
I think we raw dogged the last episode as well. Something was about raw dogging.
Yeah.
But let's talk about maybe on a positive note, starting all of this on a positive. That we need to take it one step back. Why are we talking about this? I forgot the most important part.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we talking about it? I can start maybe a little bit.
Yep.
Because first of all, thank you, TikTok. Thank you for diagnosing me multiple years back. TikTok, whenever I got my account, I started watching it. Very, very quickly, I started seeing ADHD posts. And I was like, what the heck is ADHD? I've kind of heard about it, but I have no idea. So I kept watching and I was like, this is normal. Like everybody does this, you know, like all of the traits and all.
Mm-hmm.
This is completely normal. Like what are you putting a name on it? Like where are you slapping ADHD on it because everybody does this, right?
Right.
Right. And then I started asking myself, is it everybody who does it? And the more I learned about it, I was like, well, this kind of sounds a lot like me. So many years later, last year, I went for an official diagnosis and I got it. Guess what? Combined very kind of severe level ADHD that I had lived for, 36 years at this point, not knowing and thinking, why are things so difficult?
Mm.
But yeah, got diagnosed, very happy with it. Was able to try out some medication as well. First one didn't go well. It really didn't like Concerta. And then tested out some Vyvanse, Tyvanse, Elvanse, same thing, different names in different countries. So far, it's going great. And the best thing is on Concerta, and we're going to talk about this probably a little later, after a certain amount of hours, if I had to engage with people and it stopped working, it was like, face drop. That's it. I need to go home. With Tyvanse or Vyvanse, completely fine. I have no idea when it stops working. Does it stop working? The only thing I know is if I don't take it, I will get irritated very easily, like in the past. But anyway, that's why we're talking about it from one aspect. Tell me about you.
Well, I suppose mine is I suppose I've spent the past year and a half, definitely year and a half, delving into nervous system regulation. And before I really kind of got into all of that, I would have thrived off of kind of being in survival mode, like just going all the time, do, do, do. That's where I was at. And I did really good at that, into my up until my 30s of just always doing, overachieving, all of that kind of thing. And never really questioned it. And I suppose it already kind of hit home. Well, I wouldn't even mind. My partner, who is a qualified psychotherapist, literally, he has his master's in psychotherapy and is now a fully accredited psychotherapist, has said it to me several times. But I do this really cool thing where I just completely block people out and don't hear them when I don't want to hear them. I'm like, is this part of it? Maybe. But he literally said it to me. He was like, "Yeah, I've been literally saying this to you for like the whole time. Like, yeah, like he works with people. Like he's in social care as well as taking clients on while he's kind of finding the balance. And he works with mainly autistic kids all day, every
Mhm.
day, are kids with autism and ADHD and whatever else. And to be fair, I think there's a little bit of that in him as well. And yeah, when you obviously had the tests that were, prescribed by an actual psychologist, and I sat here and did them and scored high on them. I won at something, mom. And that
Yeah,
was a bit of
did
like
you did
oh,
great,
yeah,
sweetie.
you're doing great, sweetie. When I scored in that and then it came out like unofficially as like combined type ADHD, there was like an instantaneous denial that kicked in where I was like, no, I don't have that. That's not it. Like full on denial. No. And then I started to look at the things that I do in my life and I've always done, the hyperfixation, the procrastination, the thriving off of chaos and, object permanence, like all these different things that I looked up and was like, oh. And it was kind of like Alice down the rabbit hole. It was like, oh, oh,
Mhm.
oh.
And the O just gets
And it
bigger.
just gets bigger and longer. We are like, oh, like shit. Um, Yeah, so I think that kind of got me in a bit of a chokehold at the minute, and I'm like, do I go and get an official diagnosis? Because several people around me that I love very dearly have actually got diagnosed with it in the past 2, 3 years, and I'm like, well, another thing that I've noticed is that neurospicy people attract more neurospicy
Oh,
people,
for
and
sure.
everybody in my life is very spicy. No one is like just neurotypical. No one.
Mm.
And if they are, I can't stand them. I'm like, we're not vibing. There's nothing here. Like if I say something and you don't repeat back something to me in it, if it's a TikTok trend, if it's something I'm like, oh, you don't get it. Oh.
Yeah, well, it has a name.
And I also do that. Like I'll sit there and I'll have the loops of things playing in my head. Like it doesn't matter what it is. Like, oh my shit. Like it has to be something and it just plays on repeat, on loop. And I also thought, oh, I love music. When I get into a song, you know, I just repeat it. I play the song to death. I will
Mhm.
listen to that song 100 times in that day and think that that's normal.
I mean,
And I'm like, do you know what I told myself? I was like, oh yeah, it's just so I find out what the lyrics of the song are.
sure.
Sure. Okay.
How much of those replays, or how many of them, did you actually listen to lyrics?
Oh no, it was like I felt into that. Like, oh, I know the lyrics after maybe 3 or 4 times playing it. I felt into the song. Every time I'd listen to it, I get more into the feeling of it and be like, oh, this is my vibe. And then I'll move from that song and I'll go to another one. And if that song plays, I'm like,
It's like, well,
nah, I'm over it. And it's
yes.
gone. I'm like, bye, nah. And I make playlists. And this is another thing, right? I was so hyper fixated on Spotify for ages where I was like, I'm so disorganized. I can't even make a playlist for like love or happy mood or for the gym because I'm never in the same mood. I'll come in and I'll play that song for the gym. And I'm like, ugh, change it. Ugh, hate that song because I'm never in the same mood to listen to the same music. My literally my Spotify just needs to be someone with ADHD as a DJ that goes, "What do you think you're feeling today?" and just throw shit at me because
I mean, some of the some of the main reasons that I like Apple Music is because they have radio channels.
yeah,
And radio channels are great because you never know what's coming next.
don't give me options.
My favorite radio that I used to listen to every single day at work, only to
JFM.
AFM,
Yeah. Yeah.
just because great music, didn't have to listen to lyrics, could totally block out all of the noises, because when I was working in the office, like without music, impossible.
It's too much.
I would not be able to reach any
No.
expectation.
I worked so well in the office when I had music. I'd have my headphones on, and I actually went through a stage of playing music out loud for the people around me because they got a lot of energy out of the music I'd play. And then one person complained and ruined it for everyone. And I was like, really, be that guy?
I
Okay.
would have been that guy.
It wasn't you.
I know, yeah, but
It
I would
wasn't
have
you.
been.
It was one other person. We won't name names. But yeah, I used to worry. I used to beat myself up about that all the time and tell myself I wasn't organized
Give me
enough.
the initials.
E. C. Yeah.
Really?
And I was like, why be that person? Yeah.
But they're spicy as well.
Meh. I feel like
Mm.
that's like selective. But anyway, so yeah, getting back to that, a lot of things I've picked up though, a lot of things that I've noticed about myself, like that I would have really beat myself up as for my whole life. And I kind of stepped back and had like, so it went from denial to angry.
Now you went from Egypt.
Oh yeah. And I can't swim. So you can imagine that was tough. I went from denial to anger, feeling a bit upset about it, kind of jumped between the anger and the upset. A little bit of maybe this is it, and then the acceptancy kind of piece of it of like, maybe this isn't, maybe I need to go for the test now. Maybe I really need to do this and see if this is why all of this didn't make sense. To back to like, why do I want that? Is that to make me feel better? Is that so I can kind of forgive myself for how shitty I've been to myself all my life? Like I got my assignment back, got my assignment back. I was 2% off a distinction and all I saw was that 2%
Yep.
fuck up. I was like, yeah, but it's not good enough though.
Yep.
Hyperfixate on the little, like I could
And-
do my hair or my makeup and I'll hyper focus on the one little thing, like, oh, that one spot though. I have that one spot, that one impurity. Like, no.
And everything else doesn't matter
No.
because that immediately means you're not good enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's been a tough ride. So I'm like, okay. So I'm still zigzagging between the colossal amount. Can we just take a minute also to talk about how disgustingly expensive these tests are for people to get that?
Yeah.
Like, what is it, Ireland? Sort your shit out, like.
I actually don't think it gets better anywhere else. If you're listening and you're thinking, what are we talking about? So some of the prices for ADHD tests in Ireland would be the test itself is around 600 to get to the point where you get like a diagnosis. And then if you want paperwork that you can give to your doctor or that you can go give to a psychotherapist, that's another 500. And then every single psychologist appointment would be over €100.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? With my therapist right now that I obviously have for college, she's really cool. Like I really like her. She just gives it to you straight, no bullshit. And I came to her and I brought the tests in. Obviously, we printed them out on the good paper. And I brought them in and I was like, yeah, like these are the tests. They actually were like prescribed by an actual psychologist, one of my best friends. And, you know, I showed her that. And I said, like, do you have any idea about these tests? And she was so to the point. She was like, no, I've never seen them tests before.
Really?
Yeah. She's old school as well. She's real, you know, and she's
Yeah.
very honest. I asked her, I was like, oh, yes, I'm thinking to myself now, can I do things to help myself, like the Pomodoro effect? And she was like, not familiar with that. And I was like, "Hmm." And she was like, yeah, but like, you know, I'm going to be honest and tell you what I do or don't know. And as the session went on and I started to open up about things of how my mind felt, how I felt about if this is actually a reality for me, like how upset I felt, how angry I felt that life has just felt so hard for me, like, and it didn't need to be this hard. You know, like I felt like everyone else got an easy pass or something, or like people were just like getting shit like straight away. And my brain was like, what? Like, I don't know what's happening. Sometimes when people give me verbal instructions, my brain just goes, yeah, no, it's not, no. And I need to actually physically have someone talk about it, but show me at the same time so that I can do it then. And I might not get it in the first go. And that used to kill me. Like for years, I'd be like, I need someone to show me something 2 or 3 times for it to go into my brain. I feel so dumb.
But what I've noticed working with you for a very long time is you have to be in a very specific mindset
Yeah.
for you to hear things. And you're going to look like, if somebody doesn't know you, they're going to think
I know exactly
that
what's
you're
going on.
listening. Yeah. Listening, you're getting it. I know you that currently at this point so well that I know that, okay, right. No, she's not here. There's no use of me trying to say
No,
anything
it's not going in.
because
It's
you're
because
not going to hear.
literally, it's like a wind tunnel. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, tell my partner that. Because God loves that man. Like, he has some patience with me.
If you're listening,
Yeah. If you're listening, I'm
Learn.
sorry. Sorry.
But yeah, honestly, when I got diagnosed, like I was very, very sure that I had it. I was like, I need to do all my research beforehand. I need to figure out what it is, need to get all the answers myself before I have to go to somebody else.
Yeah.
So basically, the doctor just had to say yes. And that's kind of it. That's all I needed. But as soon as they said yes, I went through this grief where I thought, oh my God, I didn't think that I would feel it, but it really felt like my childhood could have been so much easier. My school years could have been so much easier. It makes so much sense why I could never read in class because there was somebody whispering in the background or clicking the pen and it was just irritating. And that was the only thing that I could hear.
Or just the anxiety about actually having to read and follow the papers, and your heart was like beating this fucking fast, and you're like,
Yeah.
like performance anxiety around people, just groups.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also writing. That's a huge thing. Writing, I write cursive all the time. I don't really write any other way if I'm writing with a pen. But I would make so many mistakes and I would have to like scribble out the letters and just rewrite it again, what we talked about in the last episode. And just knowing that it's ADHD and that's the reason why I was making mistakes because my brain was working at a different speed than my limbs. And that's why I was making those mistakes and just kind of zoning out and then getting back in. It made so much sense.
I did that at Christmas. I don't know, it's kind of come in now since the past year and a half that I've been doing a lot of the nervous system regulation, and I've actually it's like I've been unmasking all of the shit that I had in place for years that was working well for me at the time. Well, it was working well for me. That was fine. That writing actually became a thing for me, and it never really was before. Because I remember my mom was just so like, get it right when I was younger. Not in a shit way, just to like, just do it, get it done. And I was grand with writing. It was fine. I always changed my style of handwriting. Like it changed over the years so many times, which was fine. But it was, you could read it, what I was writing. It was fine. It wouldn't be like, I don't know, like chicken scratch where you're like, what is like a doctor's signature where you're like, what is this?
That would have been me.
I was never that bad, which was actually good for me. But now in the past year and a half to 2 years, and I also think maybe because I don't write as much anymore because like we're on like, technology a lot. Christmas time, I was writing Christmas cards for people, and my brain literally normally would be like, I'd be able to say so much, just went, meh, and I couldn't write. And I was like, oh, I fucked up a Christmas card for someone 3 times. I had to rewrite 3 different cards. And I was like, what is happening? I couldn't believe it. So yeah, that's something that's come in.
But there's a funny, weird thing where I think I probably have some sort of dyslexia as well combined because I can never know which is left, which is right. I always mix up letters in the words. Every single time when I write good morning in the team's chat, I always write good morning every single time. And the best thing is, of course, that yes, it gets underlined. This is a mistake. Great. But when I was working with customers and writing emails, oh my God, the words that I was writing were existing words. So it never got underlined, never got edited. So those got sent and I got some, like quality down. Yeah. But you never know. And that's just how I was typing because, oh, there's a glitch in the system. Let me just mix up the letters.
I think one of the most confusing things for me, which obviously I've told you and I've told maybe a few other people, is that I can't tell the time on clocks. That for me growing up, wow. And even as an adult, it's really embarrassing. Like if someone is like, "Oh, what time is it?" And I'm like, "Oh," and they're like, "The clock is just there," and like point on their wall, and I look over, and it's one of those like, slow, like the entrance of a horror like a horror movie, like where you're like, it's a jump scare behind the door, where you're like, "Oh no, does it have numbers on it?" And it doesn't matter. If the clock has numbers on it, I still confuse the two hands every time. I'm like, is that 1, 2, 3? And I'm trying to figure it out. And it would be so much easier for me to just look at my phone and go, it's 20 past 4, instead of looking at the clock on, oh, no,
Do you know what could work?
burn every
Oh,
clock.
I can't see that far.
I'm blind.
I can't see that far. Yeah.
Me not speak English. Like, just like, you know,
So first, the prequel of this is done. So now we can go into, what do you think? And I know that TikTok has been showing you a lot of videos. What do you think is your superpower? Because there's a lot of negativity around it, but there's also a lot of superpowers.
what do I think my superpowers around the whole ADHD thing? Like,
That it can cause. That basically the reason.
I am superhuman when it comes to what I think I can achieve, and I will prove people wrong in spite.
Yep.
Like, I've worked 3 jobs. I've worked 2 jobs at once, 3 jobs at once, and I've worked 2 jobs at once only a while ago where I did the bar work and stuff like that. I will literally kind of go into something with someone, what their expectation is, and I'm like, cool, I'm going to beat that. And I
Usually?
will every time. And if someone tells me I can't do something, I'll do it twice
Yes.
to piss them off. I'm like, yeah, overachieve. And that's something my mom said to me from a young age. Oh, Jennifer, she's an overachiever. And I was kind of thinking to myself, is that a flex? Or is that anxiety? Or is it a multitude of things?
With both.
But like now, where I'm at now, I'm still doing it now as a 33-year-old adult. I'm like in full-time work. I have a degree as a psychotherapist now. I'm in the middle of studying. And this weekend I start sound healing diploma. And I was doing nervous system regulation for the past year and a half as well. With that, like I'm always doing a multitude of things. I've gotten like my Rahani certs, Reiki. I've done all these different things, all these different, holistic or, whatever kind of background things, because spirituality is one of my hyperfixations. Like there was me being like, the calling, I felt it. And I'm like, or how about this, Jennifer? Maybe you're hyperfixated on spirituality. What about that? I hyperfixate on my relationships, spirituality. Like it's just mad. The stuff that I've gone down rabbit holes with since I kind of did those tests, and I'm like, oh.
I think my biggest superpower, I have a few, but okay, so the simplest one would be enthusiasm. Just because I can get super excited about things. Usually they're inanimate objects. Or
Because they don't let you down as much as people.
100%. Or, like new releases, new products, new services, or anything like that. Anything that is not in real life.
Because they're less likely to let you down.
Yes.
People have more flaws, I suppose, or faults in that,
I guess also I see them differently because people have bugs, but usually they're worms. No. Or no, but usually you can't really fix them because they're so deep ingrained. Whereas software, hardware, whatever, if they have bugs, they usually can get fixed.
Maybe that's why we're friends, because I'm always like, let's go and do some shadow work. Let's go into a few nights of the dark nights of the soul. What trauma? Let's dig. Yeah.
But
I like to get a little reboot every now and then.
But that's just one of them, right? So excitement is one. Also a funny story, and pull me back for the second thing. But funny story about excitement is we're going to Florida.
Yeah.
To all of the parks, tickets booked, everything booked. Noel's extremely excited.
You're not.
For me, I'm like, I don't really get excited. I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be fun.
But yeah, I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah.
That's like a different story. That's why I'm trying to get like an autism diagnosis as well. That's another whole thing with like fake empathy and learned behaviors. Yes.
I know you need to pull it back to the second thing, but you also brought something up in me there that I was going to talk about and link in on that without trailing off, but finish.
Hold that thought. The other one is creative thinking and
Yeah.
out of the box thinking.
Yeah.
That's so prevalent and just so useful at work. Sometimes it's a little too creative and other people are not ready to hear it yet.
And they're like, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then after a while, year, 2 years, they're going to basically say, oh,
Oh,
yeah,
trash.
like we should be doing this. And like,
We already said this. Well, see, this is it. And I'm in that with you when it comes to certain things in work where I'm like, I'll say something several months beforehand. And like it could be to my line manager or people around. And then several months later, they're like, oh, yeah, like hiring. I'm like, we're going to need people. Like, I already know, I can foresee. And everyone's like, yeah, grand. And now they're like, yeah, we need to do that now. And I'm like, I already said this. I told you. Even with the queues, I knew it was going to hit 10K. I was like, it's going to happen. And now everyone was like, screw it, like Homer running around in the fairyland. Like, I was like, no, this is danger zone. Like,
and then Jennifer's just like Homer in the bushes.
I literally was just like, okay, I'm just going to blend into the background now. But back to your point, you were like, hold that thought. And I was like, I don't know if I can. That's why I blur things out because my brain can't retain the information. I'm like, say it now. Interrupt them. And it's gone. The thought is literally gone. Wait,
It will come back.
what was your, what were you talking about there that I was like, oh, jump in on the thought process?
Um,
We're testing our skills right now.
I don't know. I could rewind, but actually, I got this cool.
Enthusiasm.
There we go. I knew that would help.
Enthusiasm. It was the enthusiasm piece or like the fake empathy piece. So for years, because I even did acting, you were in the theatrical thing.
Oh.
So was I. Weird coincidence. First thing I did when I went to school was literally studying, and I hate speaking in front of large groups of people.
Oh,
But I was
yeah.
able to mask that for years.
Mm.
And I'd be incredibly uncomfortable in my body. But I was so good at masking that for years and being like, oh, yeah, cool. Overly optimistic and excited. I was a personal trainer, a class instructor. I used to have to get up in front of a whole gym, an open space gym, and teach a spin class of 50 bikes several different times throughout the day where everybody in the gym, which could have been any amount of people, can hear me, see me, everything with a microphone on. Now I think about that, I'm like, oh, like I shudder. Back then I was like, yeah, cool. When we talk about fake enthusiasm, I fucking nailed that.
Oh, 100%.
Now I'm like, ugh.
But you know, the thing is, also, I was performing, I was singing, hosting events
Like,
on cruise ships. I even performed on stage for thousands of
Like-
people.
crazy.
But honestly, I see them as two different things. One is performance, which is
Being a fake little bitch.
you are you're not yourself. You are
I
a persona.
wasn't. I was,
And
yeah.
for me, it's very easy to become a persona because I know that's not me. So I can be whatever I want to be. It's like, you know, those mascots that are like fully dressed and they're like walking around making fun, like, or just like laughing on the streets. Whoa, come into my pizza house. What is that voice? You know, but I've done a little bit of mascot work and nobody knows you. So you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it's a persona.
I did it. I did it for a long time. I did so much promotional work over the years as well. I like paraded myself basically.
Mm.
Like the motorbike stuff, the grid girl stuff in like a catsuit. I walked around in rings as a ring girl. Remember that thing?
Mhm.
In like hot pants and a fucking bra. And I'm like looking back now and I'm like, Jen. Like different versions. Was very good at fake enthusiasm.
Oh, absolutely. Like also,
And to my ex-boyfriends, I didn't really enjoy it that much. Sorry, I had to throw that one in there.
but like I had this urge when I was younger, to just be seen, be popular. I was able to be in some yellow pages and some, those, what are they called? What's Wendy Williams talk shows?
Host?
But no, like gossip
Oh, gossip
news.
column kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was in a couple of those as well, but I felt like it doesn't matter what it is about. I had to be in them.
Okay.
Like, why? There's absolutely no reason for that. But when I did, I was like, okay, great. I achieved something. Okay, I'm bored now. What's next?
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing for me as well, is just the boredom aspect. Yeah, like my brain literally just is like firing on all cylinders all the time. And people are always like, oh my God, you think so much. And I've seen that so much in my life where I'd be like, oh, like, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? And I'd be saying this to like neurotypical people. I'd be like, I don't know. And I'd be just looking at them like, what is wrong with your brain?
Yeah.
Because I thought everybody's brain was like mine. No,
No, you're just
no,
better.
you're just spicier.
You're just better. And what is food without spice?
Right? Yeah.
It's just bland.
Just boring. Like, fuck that.
And
Where's
you
the
know
curry
what?
sauce? Give me that.
But that's the thing. Like a lot of people that I know that are not spicy are bland. And oh my God.
I don't maintain them conversations for long. I can't do general conversations like this. Actually, this actually happened when I was away in Porto with one of my best mates at Christmas time. I went away, and she's really good at starting conversations with people, just out of nowhere about random shit. Well, it's not like ADHD random. It's like boring shit.
Small talk random.
Small talk. I can't do small talk. I can't do it.
Brother.
It just gives me the ick. And she turned around and she's like talking to them about their little girl that's beside them. And I'm just like, I don't,
Brother, yeah.
brother, what's that, brother? I'm literally looking at it and I'm like, okay, how do I, and like, I'm leaning down to be like, what do you think of this port that we're drinking? Like, I don't know what the fuck, what am I talking to this like 3-year-old about? She can't even talk yet. And I'm just like, yeah, you having a good time? Like, I don't have a nephew. I can talk shit with him. But like, that's a stranger, a little kid. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Even the adults, I was like, oh, and how are you finding it over here? Like, it felt so unnatural. I hated every minute of it. Every minute. But she's like, yeah, just saying all of the nicest things. And I was like, no.
Oh my God. One of the talking points that I actually wrote down and just read is the struggle with small talk and social situations.
See, I'm feeling into what you have there, even though I haven't seen it. But yeah, it's painful for me. And I mean, even as a manager, like I don't mind having small talk with people. I know some people need that to ease their anxiety, so I can actually have general conversation with them. Be like, "How was your weekend? Did you do anything nice?" Or if they told me something before, my brain can recollect. Oh, they told me they were going to book a holiday in 3 months' time. I can go back on that. Or they told me their mom wasn't well, or their cousin is visiting. Like, it'll be from months ago, and I'll go, oh yeah, did your mom ever get whatever? Because my brain remembers that fact for some reason, even though it means like it's in a room in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why do I even need to know that about Denise? I don't even know Denise. But I remember it, like, so I'll bring that in and they'll be like, oh, you've such a great memory. And I'm like,
Sure.
ask me about all the random facts I know about dumb shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Because a lot of the memories and a lot of the talking are usually around the dopamine situations. What is something that interests you? You could talk about it
Spirituality.
forever.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like if you met somebody on the street that was, I don't know, doing some sort of advertising for spirituality that you're into, you could probably hit it up and easily spend hours talking about it.
No problem. Literally. And I would love to learn from them. I'd be so open to learning from them about it based on how much information they can regurgitate to me. I'd be like, oh, you're cool. oh,
Mhm.
you're really intelligent. And that's what I would play that off. I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Yank.
Yeah.
And that's the friendship connection, by the way, that yoink.
But you know what's interesting as well, and I need to stop saying interesting because I use that a lot. Um, Today I went to the doctor
Doctor?
for my turkey chin. Currently, it's a turkey chin. If you haven't seen it, I'm just going to do this. I got some fat dissolved here, and it has just drooped down, and now it's funny. So I keep doing this all the time.
You
And
could be
so
that creepy uncle that, oh, that was my favorite little nephew.
I just basically a set video that me shaking my chin to so many random people today. But anyway, back to the doctor. He was completely not into small talk, which is great. I love that. Also, there were some awkward, quiet moments where I was like, "Whoa,"
Oh,
but it's fine. He has a site on our platform, and we started talking about it. And we're currently not sponsored, so I'm not mentioning names. But we started talking about it, and he was so interested in it, and what are some of the new things, and I was sharing them as well, and it felt just so natural because it was a small talk around a joint interest.
yeah.
It actually had meaning. I understand small talk for parents who talk about their children to other parents who might also be really into children. For me, it would be like, can I die?
I love that you said into children. And I'm like, not in a creepy way, by the way, for everyone listening. Not in a creepy way, just like they love their kids like most parents. So yeah, just to,
But so it's just all of those small little topics, like me talking about Apple, I could talk hours about all of the Apple products, like what they've released and so on, but nobody will listen. So I don't.
that's like me on psychotherapy stuff or counseling stuff. I would talk about it for forever. I just go down so many rabbit holes about all of the self-help stuff and all of those things. My mind knows so much information. Do I utilize all of that myself? No, I don't. But do I know about it? Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's going to help me be a great therapist where I can go, here's all that information that I clearly don't do myself. But anyway, I'm human.
No, exactly. So small talk is one. Time blindness is another one.
I'm overly early rather than late because I don't like being late for things. So overly early.
Yes.
Yeah. And my dad has that as
Why are
well
you overly early?
because I freak out. Like, I'll freak out and I might be like, oh, what if this happens? And then that causes me to be late. So, yeah.
Would you be on time?
No.
That's time blindness.
Yeah, I can't be on time.
That's
Like,
kind
I've
of a-
tried. I have
Yeah.
been trying that. And I have been late for people and actually have been pushing myself in that in the last maybe 3-4 years of my life, where I'd be like, okay, I'm going to leave at a certain time. And if I'm late, the person that I'm going to will understand and they love me enough that they'll understand. I just need to be like comfortable with being uncomfortable in that. So I have pushed myself in that. I have done that in the past kind of few years. And it's disgusting. I hate it. I fucking can't stand it. So I rather be early. Like there's jobs, like I remember I worked in a gym and I used to have to start kind of be in the gym maybe around 5:30 in the morning, I think it was. I kind of need to be there. And that was at Park West. And where I lived at the time, which was all the way up the Nanger Road, there was no bus. So I had to walk. I didn't have a bike at that time, like a bicycle. I used to get up at 4:00, 4:30 in the morning. And because I'm such a fast walker, I literally walked that whole Nanger Road in record timing every day and would get there and have so much time to wait outside in the dark in winter outside the gym
Yeah.
because I couldn't, the thought of being late, I was like, huh. Overslept one time, nearly killed myself. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like couldn't
Unforgivable.
literally, and obviously that was a bit of a exaggeration there, but like literally woke up, I was like, oh my God, I want to die. Like couldn't believe I'd let somebody down. I was like, oh God,
Mhm. Yep.
worst nightmare.
But no, I'm not going to say the funny thing because I keep saying that a lot. I need to stop. Drop it in the comment below. Like and subscribe. So yeah, time blindness. I have been to every single of my interviews, even for this current job, I was an hour and 15 minutes early. I was sitting in the lobby waiting, and the person who had to come and collect me for the interview, they were stressing out that I'm already there. And I was like, no, 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 it's fine. I'll just sit here. No, 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 it's fine. I sit here. And everywhere I've been hours before, I'm getting slightly better at it. So I usually allow myself a few minutes, but I have to be a little like 1 minute early because if I'm late, that's it.
Yeah, you're a failure.
I forgive myself.
That's it. It's disgusting. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another part of time blindness is when you're doing something that you're really into, or you're just like focusing on that thing. And let's say you're working on,
Romance novels.
sure, and you start a romance novel.
It's dark outside. When did that happen? Yeah. That's me. If I start a series that I'm really into, I have to watch the whole thing. There is no such thing as a bedtime. There's no such thing as a task that needs to be done. Like, oh, I need to have a shower, brush my teeth, brush my hair, whatever the hell the thing is, bring down my plate, whatever. I get so engrossed in that series, novel, whatever it is, and I have to complete it. If I don't complete it, something in me feels like, oh, I like, can't even explain it. It's a problem.
Yeah, but absolutely. And that's one of the things. And what there was something else about time blindness where you might feel, oh, I have 5 minutes before I need to leave. Let me just do the dishes, wash the bathroom, clean the shower, also change the bed.
Or me, oh, my assignment, cool, I have 2 months to do it. When am I going to do it? The day before it's due. The fucking day. Not even do a little bit a night, Jen, which is what my partner said to me. Do a little bit every night.
No.
No.
Why?
Why? Why would I do that?
Why would you waste time on multiple days on something that you don't want to do if you can do it all at one go? And
Stressed out.
but you just spend that one day and that's it.
Stressed out, like strung out, anxious, be like, it's not gonna be done. I would say why am I like this, but I think we've established now why, unofficially, why that is.
We kinda did it. What else did I have for today? We have maybe, well, let's play a game. What did you lose this week?
What did I lose this week? I'm actually, so this is the thing with me. I don't really lose things often.
Where's Bobbin?
There's a bobbin in my bag. And I had one on my wrist, and I normally do have one on my wrist. I usually have a system, and I didn't. And I brought a bracelet instead today. There's a system in that, but it's also because if I put my hair up, it gets crinkled, and I don't want to crinkle for tomorrow. There's method behind the madness for that. I don't normally lose things per se, because I would be the type of person that if I was on a bus, for example, or a train, now I have a car, but if I was on them, public transport, I would be checking my belongings 6-7 times before. It's like
Yeah.
OCD tendencies.
Yeah.
I would check before I get off. I always know where my bank card is. I always know where my phone is or my keys. And I always have a system when I'm leaving the house. So I'll be like, phone, keys, wallet. And I always do that before I leave, like OCD to the max. So when I do lose something, I beat the shit out of myself. I'm like, oh my, if it's money, which is very rare for me. I think I lost 20 euro one time and I was like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
and then I stopped and went into spiritual mode and went, someone out there needed that more than you did, Jennifer. But at the same time, on the inside, I'm like, die.
But it's like today in Tesco, speaking of somebody needed it more, we were queuing in the self-checkouts and I saw €2 on the ground and I was like, no, it's fine. I have enough. And somebody behind us picked it up.
That's cute. Imagine you putting your foot, imagine them going to pick it up and you put your foot like down on their hand. Yeah. So like, I don't really lose things in that way. And if I am, when it comes to cleanliness as well, I'm like really OCD about certain things on my bed has to be made every day. When I wake up, if it's not, I'm just in turmoil. Like there's something wrong. I have to make my bed every day a certain way. And if people sit on my bed when it's made, it's not okay. My partner knows. He's literally like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Get off my bed so I can make it now." And I like fix cushions and yeah, it's a thing. But there's parts of the room and it's organized chaos. So everything is all over the place, but I know what's there.
Yeah, like little doom piles. Speaking of which, I remember when I went to your previous place where you lived and I asked you, can I sit on the bed? I remember asking you that and then I fixed it as well.
Everything has a system.
But I didn't
Pillows
know.
have to be a certain way. But I'm so OCD about my bed. And I'll make my bed and then my partner will just like lie back down on it. And I'm like, but and he's like, "What? It's grand." And I'm like, is
I didn't
is it?
I didn't know about your bed thing at
It's
that time,
really
but
bad.
I
Yeah.
saw it and it just made sense that I would probably feel the same. So let me just
I'm a
see,
cushion
you
fixer.
know?
And every corner has to be a certain way. And this is the funny thing. I'm so hyper fixated on that with the bed. But yeah, I have my work chair in the middle where my telly is at the minute, and it's blocking a corner. You've seen the picture of where my
Mhm.
telly is, and it pisses me off, but not enough for me to turn around to my dad and go, "Dad, will you take my TV out of the wall and bring it up higher?" I can do that. I know I can. I'm just awkward. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to do that though, because it's actually fucking retarded at this stage.
Speaking of cushions, chop or straight?
Oh, it depends on the cushion, but I'm mostly straight.
I'm mostly straight. Um,
And yeah, I'm mostly with the pillows that I have because they're like that material that doesn't have it in it. Like if you chop it, it doesn't sit in it.
okay.
Like these pillows, these would be a chop instantly for me. I'd be
Yeah.
like, that has to
Yeah.
be the way.
Mhm.
It depends on the type of pillow, but the ones that I have, because of the way that they are straight ones. They're just, yeah.
Okay. I do like a
That's a
chop
cushion.
look. I like a chop look.
I like it if it's then pillows that
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
can, yeah.
But a lot of people are really against it. And I'm like, if this goes viral, we're going to have a lot of hate about this or pillow choppers.
Listen, I used to think I was a weird of being a cushion fixer. Now I'm like, you know what? Fuck everyone. I'm gonna be that bitch. Get the fuck off my bed. Smooth it out. Like I'm only short of just sitting there, like being this close to the blanket and just like,
Mhm.
straightening out. If there's a crinkle, I'm like, oh God. And if I spill something on the bed cover, why? Why? You know
Yeah.
how messy I am.
Oh, yeah. Don't wear white.
I'm so clumsy. I don't wear white. That's why I don't wear white. I am ridiculously clumsy. It's burdened me my whole life, but now I'm starting to kind of embrace it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. Okay.
Well, it's also part of ADHD, by the way. Clumsiness.
I'm very
Yeah.
clumsy.
Are you ready for another joke?
Go. Am I?
No.
Okay, go. Go.
No, this is terrible. Okay, fine. This is I haven't read this one. So I have trouble sleeping, so my doctor told me to count sheep. 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep, cow, duck, horse. Old MacDonald had a farm, and Bingo was his name. Oh,
I honestly thought you were going to say I had a dream about sheep or something like that, or marshmallows. And I woke up and my pillow was gone, as if the pillow would have been the sheep or the marshmallow. So that was on point. That was fine. That was acceptable.
I think we are kind of coming to the end of this very hectic, very wild ride and
Unmasked,
adventure.
unmasked and alive.
JJ Unmasked.
Literally, I think we need to rebrand.
We'll see where this goes. We'll see what the next episode is going to be and see where we develop
Yeah.
and how we go. But thank you so much for joining. And thank you, everybody, for listening as well. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, wherever you are, or how late or early it is. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.